Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and today we are checking out the very last episode of Band of Brothers Points, which is episode 10, and I have to say, I'm really sad that we are at the last episode because I have really enjoyed this show. It has been one of my favorite shows that I've watched on the channel, and it's become one of my favorite shows in general, from the quality of the writing to the visceralness of the action. Everything about this show is top quality, and the last episode in particular, episode 9, really hit home for me, and I've been thinking about it all week. But I'm really excited to be watching this final episode to see the conclusion of this show. I'm sure it's going to be the end of the war. Maybe our soldiers, our Easy Company soldiers, are going to be heading home or something like that. I don't really know, but I'm excited to find out. But before we do the reaction, let me do the lighting. So we turn on the light because I said what color it should be. Boop. Nice. As you can see, there is no lighting because my color changing light is still broken, so I need to buy a new one. Rest in peace to my old color changing light. But in the color changing light stead, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been watching along my Band of Brothers reactions. It really means a lot, and thank you so much for tuning in. And before we get into this reaction, if you would like to check out more of my videos, you're gonna head over to my Patreon of uncut and early access reactions to my movies and TV shows, such as all Band of Brothers reactions have uncut videos where you can watch along the show with me. There's also exclusive Patreon merch. And yeah, thank you so much for checking it out. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, Band of Brothers, let's get into this thing. I hope you enjoy my reaction to episode 10 of Band of Brothers Points. The last time we're gonna hear this intro. Here's the best part coming up right now. It's so, I get chills every time. It's so good. Oh, and that part too, when the strings just come in. You know, I don't think there's ever been an intro that actually makes me emotional like this. This intro is just special. I don't know why, it just is. The final part. We're in Austria, okay. I've always wanted to go to Austria. It looks beautiful.
Morning. Yeah, I heard reports about a red-headed Eskimo.
These two are the real ones.
Ran into the regimental photographer. Said he had all these photographs of the 506.
Oh, I want to see them. Are there some from Bastogne?
Traded them for a couple of Lugers. That's a bargain.
Oh my god, look how bright-faced they are.
Yeah, discussed the possibility of staying.
Staying in the army.
There's a company in Nixon, New Jersey. It's called Nixon Nitration Works.
Nix can work for Nixon and Nixon.
Are you offering me a job?
Yeah, he is. I want to jump off of that pier.
Hard to fathom. And the war wasn't even over.
But it's near over. People are hopeful.
The Alps was the Nazi Party's symbolic home, and all the heads of the Third Reich had houses there.
Okay, so it's a very important place.
Blocking the roads.
Oh, wow.
You're not gonna let us waltz into Hitler's house? Probably throw a few rocks at us yourself.
So fair.
So the French are gonna beat us to the Eagle's Nest.
It's become a race to the top of the mountain.
Told him I understood his point. Now you fire up 2nd Battalion and outflank that French son of a bitch.
Yeah. They don't want to give the French the credit. White flags for surrender. But is it a trap?
What do you mean?
Well, you have to be to live here.
Need to find someplace.
You have to be high up, really believing in the cause. Those are not white flags. I'm so on edge. They didn't just give up, did they?
Gonna take whatever isn't nailed down.
Well, wouldn't want that to happen.
Finders keepers.
On the west side of town. I want Battalion HQ, seal off the north side, and prepare for prisoners.
Sergeant Grant.
Okay, so this isn't even the main area. There's somewhere higher up. Oh!
Easy.
I thought he got stabbed.
Eagle's Nest.
Easy's gonna take the Eagle's Nest, sir.
A mountaintop stone retreat, 8,000 feet up, accessible by a gold-plated elevator.
Wow. There's only like 5 guys here. What if it's resistance? Why is it so empty? It's too empty. It's too empty. Oh. Did they shoot themselves? Wow, I bet these are real pictures as well.
I hope you don't mind. We made ourselves at home. Love what you've done with the place. Hey,
Was there actually no resistance for any of this? Did everyone just leave?
Ready for it? Listen up. German army surrendered.
Oh.
is it? Yeah.
Oh, the hugs.
Ouch for that, sir.
Oh, anxious to get off duty, O'Keefe.
No, there's just so much to see and do, sir.
Oh. It's built like a bunker inside.
10,000 bottles of the world's finest liquor, wine, and chimp.
Oh, wow.
The company marked the day the war in Europe came to an end.
An alcoholic's dream. It feels good. It feels good. There's like a weight off my chest. The war is over.
Until they saw Austria.
Because that is also beautiful. Wow. Wow, I'm gonna go here one day. That's a beautiful hotel.
We'll be comfortable here.
Just a little.
Please accept this as my formal surrender. It is better than to lay it on the desk of a clerk.
Okay.
You may keep your sidearm, Colonel.
Oh, wow. That must be a show of, I don't know, respect almost? Like, it's a decent thing to do?
Grim battlefield of Okinawa, where one of the bloodiest engagements of the war is being fought.
Yeah, in the Pacific, which is another show.
So, when are we going? We don't have a date yet.
Oh, they're going to the Pacific? Are you serious?
It means troop reviews, but above all, it means physical training. Get your NCOs on it.
They're gonna love you.
I forgot that the Japanese fought a little bit after the war in Europe ended, you know what I mean? Until the atom bombs were dropped. Oh, who made a noise?
How many points you need?
15?
15. Jesus Christ, I thought I had it bad.
On this, the anniversary of D-Day, he has authorized a lottery to send one man home in each company.
Okay. That would suck if you've been fighting for that long and you still don't have enough points to get home. There's only one name in there.
Sergeant Darrell C. Powers.
Shifty, Shifty. Wow, they're letting him go home.
So, beginning tomorrow at 0600 hours, we will begin training to go to war.
God, everyone's faces. They were so happy. They thought their days of fighting were done. And now they have who knows how long of fighting left. Well, we know, but they don't.
I just don't rightly know how I'm going to explain all this.
You can't really. No one's going to understand.
Thank you, sir.
Winters for the win.
2 days later, Shifty Powers was on a truck headed for the rear in a boat.
I'm so happy for Shifty, man.
Unfortunately, the truck was hit head-on.
No!
And a bad concussion. He survived, but had to spend the next few months in a series of hospitals.
Okay, thank God he survived.
Guts and Glory here applied for a transfer.
What? 13th Airborne are heading out for the Pacific.
What? No, and what?
Are you in on this too?
I can't let him go by himself. He doesn't know where it is.
Aww. These two together are beautiful. Yeah. I remember this. Oh no! I didn't want to see this guy die again. Wow, these are all big moments in the show. This is a moment that haunts him. This haunted him in episode 5 and it's still haunting him now.
You got through Bastogne without having to fire your weapon.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah, I guess he did. Oh my god. See, words don't even describe what this was like.
Let me tell you something, son. You've done enough.
Yeah, you have more combat experience than me, says the guy interviewing, and me as well. Is there someone who worked at a camp, at a concentration camp?
Is this a personal thing, Joe?
This sounds personal.
Where the hell have you been for the past 3 years?
See, I understand his perspective. Oh my god, don't just shoot him.
Kommandant, vom Arbeitslager.
Ich weiß von keinem Arbeitslager. Sie haben die falsche Person.
We're just gonna hear a gunshot.
Sie können nicht hier reinkommen. Sie können nicht hier reinkommen. Nein!
Oh my god, don't! Just waiting for it.
Liebgott says so.
He probably is.
Oh!
Shoot him!
No.
Oh my... Oh my days!
Summer in this alpine paradise should...
The bored soldier, a dangerous soldier. I can understand why he's mad and why he's
Everyone
angry.
just wanted to go home.
But there are two sides to everything.
It's the end of my second war. Jesus. I'm going home now.
Did he fight in World War I as well?
Go ahead, take off. It's my turn.
Okay, see you back at the farm. 81.
Oh, he was so close.
I have 81 points.
He was 4 off.
It's just not good enough.
What are points for? How do you get points? Oh no. Oh no. And they just keep driving? Did they not hear any of this? Are they deaf?
It's Private Janovac.
It's Tom Hardy, man. He's dead.
Who'd served with distinction since before Normandy were stuck here because they didn't have the points.
It's such a stupid system, I feel.
Weapons, alcohol, and too much time on their hands.
Yeah, a bored soldier is a dangerous soldier. That's what I'm saying.
What happened to him?
Got his leg blown off in Bastogne.
Yeah. Oh my god, what happened here?
You okay, Matt? You need some help?
Oh no.
They wouldn't give me any gas. Krauts.
Are you can't do that.
Use his Jeeba. I don't think he's going to be needing it.
Hold on a second now, right?
Oh! This is friendly fire! Why don't you just take all their weapons away? Why don't you just take all their weapons away? There is no war anymore. You don't need them.
Why?
Get in the Jeep.
Why this guy?
Where are we going?
To the hospital. Get in.
Oh, he's a brain surgeon. Okay.
Let me drive. We'll get there faster.
Trust this guy, yes. Trust this guy. Are they torturing him?
Just play cards, right?
Jeez, these weapons, these guns are so dangerous.
Weapon. When you talk to an officer, you say sir.
Oh my god. Oh, Spears has done this before. There's no bullets in it. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Grant's dead?
No.
Crown surgeon says he's gonna make it.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
I'd like to resign as company first sergeant.
Because of what happened?
So you decided to stay in the army?
Yes, I'm gonna stay with the men.
Okay, I think he'd do really well.
We absolutely do. And your driver will drop you off at a hotel of your choice. And,
Wow, excuses for his soldiers to leave the war. I love this.
I won't let you down, sir.
These people who maybe don't have enough points but deserve to leave.
I thought Second Lieutenant Carwood Lipton from West Virginia could soothe his ruffled feathers.
Lipton. Oh my god, it's David Schwimmer, he's back. Winters is higher ranked than him now. Oh wow, how the table turns.
You are a special group.
Die ineinander einen Zusammenhalt gefunden hat.
Found in one another a bond.
This applies to all the soldiers in the war.
Held each other in dire moments.
Die den Tod zusammen gesehen haben.
We've seen death and suffered together. We deserve long and happy lives in peace.
That was a good speech. How similar are these two armies in terms of they're just men fighting for greater orders, you know what I mean? And this bond that is shared between them.
Take a look at these two kids. What the hell happened?
Oh, that was first episode. That was so long ago. Oh wow, what a place to play baseball.
But Compton came back to see the company to let us know that he was all right.
Oh.
David Webster became a writer for the Saturday Evening Post and Wall Street Journal, and later wrote a book about sharks.
Really? That's cool.
As a testament to his character, 1,600 people attended his funeral in 1998.
Oh, wow.
Joe Liebgott returned to San Francisco and drove his cab.
Oh, just like he wanted. I have chills.
Alton Moore returned to Wyoming with a unique souvenir. Hitler's personal photo albums.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We all lost touch with in civilian life until he showed up at a reunion just before his death in 1981.
Wow.
Carwood Lipton became a glass-making executive in charge of factories all over the world.
Yeah, that's cool.
Served in Korea. In 1958, returned to Germany as governor of Spandau Prison.
Wow.
Easy Company! School circle!
For Easy Company, it was D-Day plus 4.
Are we getting a picture?
Listen up. Got some news. This morning,
No picture.
President Truman received the unconditional surrender from the Japanese.
Yeah, there we go.
Medals or wounds, each man in the 101st Airborne would be going home.
Oh man, I'm cold. They really are a band of brothers.
Lewis Nixon had some tough times after the war. He was divorced a couple of times.
Oh.
He married a woman named Grace, and everything came together for him.
Good job.
Officers and Rangers. But I chose not to go to Korea. I'd had enough of war.
Yeah, fair enough.
Little peaceful corner of the world, where I still live today.
Oh, wow.
Who never got to enjoy the world without war.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
Are we gonna say who is who?
It's very unusual.
That's Winters.
We knew that we could depend on each other.
And that's Lipton.
Brave, so brave is unbelievable. And
that's malarkey.
I'm just one part of the big war, that's all. One little part.
Oh.
Like you figured, you thought that you could do just about anything. And after the war was over, and it...
Powers shifty. Oh.
Sheds his blood with me, shall be my brother.
Wow.
A question my grandson asked me the other day when he said, Grandpa, were you a hero in the war? Grandpa said no, but I served in a company of...
What a beautiful ending to the show. Ah. What a beautiful ending to the show. And that was my reaction to Band of Brothers episode 10, the finale of the show Points. And what a poignant episode. Poignant episode. I was trying to make a point. What? I was trying to make a pun with points and poignant. A poignant episode to end the show. And yeah, just wonderful episode. Wonderful show. Where do I even start? This episode had not a lot of action in it. Just like episode 9, it had not a lot of action in it, but it had a lot of feeling in it for the most part. And yeah, it was just, I mean, let's just talk about the ending first of all. When they were playing baseball and Winters was going over who was doing what and stuff like that. It was just so feel good, you know what I mean? Like, it filled my heart with so much joy just hearing that these people for the most part had very successful lives after the war, that they weren't treated like scum. Some of them had unfortunate lives, such as someone died pretty early in a car crash in like the 1950s and stuff like that. The guy who got the photo album, like Hitler's photo album, which actually pretty sick, by the way. But just like hearing that these soldiers had lives outside of the war, hearing them be like happy outside of the war, you know, marry the love of their lives, get the jobs that they wanted, just genuinely have good lives and lead good lives. And then to hear that they had reunions as well was just so touching, because these guys are brothers. These guys are a band of brothers. And when they had the actual figures at the end, the actual people who were in the war at the very end, and then they showed the names as we've been seeing them throughout the whole show, but we didn't know their names, which I thought was really cool because we didn't know who was going to live and who was going to die. But at the end, we see their names, we see them talking, and I think it was Lipton, like the actual Lipton, and he was like talking about Henry VIII's quote or something like that. It was one of the King Henrys, and basically he was like, if we shed blood together, then we are brothers, we are a band of brothers. And yeah, I just thought that was just really cool how they ended this show on this point of hope, you know, on this really nice moment of these guys did manage to make it out. They were the lucky few. And I thought it was really interesting as well that the guy at the very end, when he was talking about this letter that he wrote, and his grandson asked him, like, hey grandpa, like, are you a hero? Were you a hero in the war? And his answer was no, which I thought was really interesting, because I guess the soldiers, a lot of them don't see themselves as heroes. They were just doing a job. But like, for me, honestly, like, I consider them as heroes. They did something that was unspeakably brave, something that many people couldn't do. Even in the show, you would see soldiers that couldn't do this job, and so to see the people that survived, I would say they are just as heroic as the men who laid down their lives. And I can see where that guy's coming from, where the men that died are the real heroes, because they sacrificed themselves for something that was much greater than themselves, even if they didn't realize it at the time. And so I completely understand where that guy's coming from, but I think he is in a way putting down his own achievements, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that he did live through this war, the fact that he did fight all the time, at what point do you consider that to be heroic, you know what I mean? And I don't know, after watching this show, everyone that lived, everyone that died, like, I have the utmost, like, I had a lot of respect for them going into this show. I have learned about World War II before. I did know how horrible it was, you know what I mean? Just from, like, media and school and stuff like that. Obviously, I've never fought in a war, so I will never be able to have that full perspective as someone who has fought in a war has. But I have heard about it through words, and even though words don't do it justice, it gives you a tidbit of an example of what it was like. But after watching this show, after spending time with these characters, yeah, I have a lot more respect, you know what I mean? Like, I already had 100% respect, and now it's at like 200% respect, if that makes any sense. But yeah, the rest of this episode was also really interesting. I really liked what it's going for. First of all, Austria, beautiful place. I would love to go to Austria one day. I mean, I've always wanted to go to Austria. I've always known it was beautiful, but seeing it in this show, I was like, I'm gonna go to whatever mountains and lakes those were, or lake that was, and I'm gonna sit at that hotel, and I'm gonna, I don't know, have a beer and just relax. And that is my life plan now, to go to that spot in Austria. But this location aside, I thought it was really interesting what they did with this episode in terms of soldiers being bored equals something that isn't very good, especially because a lot of them were replacements and they didn't really have combat experience. You know, they were still eager to fight to get these things, and I thought that was a really interesting thing that the show brought up, because it's something that isn't really talked about. But even when the war was finished in Europe and V-Day had been declared, there were still soldiers dying, whether it was by accident, whether it was on purpose. There were still soldiers dying. There were still Germans being shot, whether by orders or not by orders. And it was just like kind of scary when you think about it, how easy it was for some of these replacements and for some of these soldiers to just turn against their own platoon or their own comrades over gas because they're drunk, you know what I mean, in the middle of the night. And it's something that I feel like definitely, I mean, obviously it definitely happened, but it's like this danger that you don't really think of, because when the war's over, you're like, oh wow, we have peace. But then the soldiers start to get bored, the soldiers start to drink a lot, there are weapons everywhere, weapons plus alcohol. Usually doesn't end up very well, and in this case it didn't end up well a few times. Luckily that guy survived who got shot in the head, by the way. And Spears not shooting the guy who shot that guy in the head was a very mature thing to do, I feel. It's kind of like this character development where at the start of the show he definitely would have shot someone in the head, but in this, at the end of the show now, he's like, let the actual justice, or like military justice system, deal with this guy. I also really liked how the show contrasted and made very similar the German army and the American army, because I mean there are differences for sure, and when you're fighting the war, you see the German army, like let's say if I'm in the American army or the Canadian army, for instance, you see the German army as an other, and you're brought to raise like that and stuff like that. But if you, like, I don't know, I talked about this in my last Band of Brothers review, I think, but I was just reading The Backwash of War. I finished it. Really good World War I book, by the way. But in that book, there's an American nurse, and she's talking about how the German army is pretty much the same as the French army that she is with, and how the German army are still basically just children, you know, 20-year-old men, 18-year-old men fighting in this war, taking orders from someone who is higher up. They don't really understand too much besides that they need to fight. They are just numbers in an endless stream of numbers on the front line, and there's a lot more similarities. And so when that German captain, or whatever you want to call him, the German guy, gave that speech on the hill in this episode, and he was talking about how you guys have bonded together in a way that only combat can bond people. I'm proud to have worked with you guys and stuff like that. It's something that can not only be applied to the German army, but to every single army that fought in the war, and every single army that has fought in any war, really. And it's really interesting how the show throws you these comparisons between these two armies, showing you that yes, the German army were horrible, and they did do horrible things, and the people leading the German army were horrible, but the people actually doing a lot of the fighting, you know, in the trenches, in the foxholes and stuff like that, they were kind of the same as your average American soldier, who they were just probably working class citizens. They were just following orders. They were doing it because they were told they had to do it, instead of really truly believing in the cause. And in that way they formed bonds and stuff like that. Very interesting stuff, and I really like that the show is making you think about this. And yeah, I guess that is going to be the end of my review. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to these wonderful, beautiful, amazing people right here for supporting me and supporting my channel. It really does mean a lot. I loved this show so much. It's definitely a show that's going to stick around in my head for a long time. It's a show that I really want to show my dad, because I think he would really enjoy this. He loves like World War II, World War I shows, and he hasn't seen this. I know he hasn't seen this, so I'm probably going to show my dad this show eventually. Obviously not on the channel, but I'll show him on my own time, because I think he'll really enjoy it. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone who has watched along with every episode, or just watched this episode. If you tuned into any episode, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure watching you guys, reading your comments, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you around for some other movie reactions and TV show reactions, and if not, then I don't know, have a good life, I guess. Anyways, I don't really know how to end this. Anyways, have a good life, and if I see you later, then see you later.